An alligator takes a bite out of a Carteret County man, and his brother tells us it was his fault.
Plus, our state ranks as one of the highest in the country when it comes to diabetes. So call into our live phone bank right now. We brought in a team of experts to answer your questions about the disease.
Good Thursday evening, everyone. I'm Alan Hoffman.
And I'm Amanda Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
No information tonight on the local scientist attacked by an alligator and sent to the hospital.
His name is Dr. Fred Boyce, a snake expert at a local aquarium. We wanted to know how he even got involved in the alligator capture in the first place.
Not on your side's Madeline Wright talked with the aquarium staff and Dr. Boyce's brother to find out how he wound up facing down a gator on side the road.
Dr. Fred Boyce is the man who straddled this alligator and tried to capture it with his bare hands. He's a herpetologist at Pine Knoll Shores Aquarium, a snake expert. But according to his older brother, he has no experience handling alligators.
I don't know what Fred was thinking about because obviously he didn't know what he was doing.
The gator grabbed Dr. Boyce's arm and hurled him into the grass in a ditch near Highway 70 in Stacy. He was treated for bites at Carteret General Hospital. But how did he get involved with this alligator in the first place?
Tuesday night, our office assistant, who works until 5:30, took a call at 5:30 as she was about to go out the door.
Aquarium spokeswoman Julie Powers explains. She says the aquarium got a call from a man at Emergency Management Services in Morehead City wanting to know how to handle an alligator they had injured. And Dr. Boyce spoke to that man.
They were talking, and the security officer mentioned that the Wildlife Resources Commission handles these sorts of calls.
And wildlife officers were dispatched to the scene.
We received a report of an alligator in the Stacy community of Carteret County. The report was that it was located near a residence.
He told the security officer that he was going to go down there because he was concerned about the alligator.
Julie Powers says Dr. Boyce never told the aquarium he would try to capture the alligator. His brother is just grateful he's still alive after the attack. In Pine Knoll Shores, Madeline Wright, 9 on your side.
William Boyce says his brother has gone into seclusion since this attack.
The aquarium, in fact, says he did not come into work today. EMS crews later captured that alligator with a noose. They put it around his jaws. They released it into a swamp.
Viper again very active this afternoon. Although the intense thunderstorms have quieted for the time being, we're still tracking light to moderate rain north of Kenansville in Duplin County on toward Calypso, facing across the Wayne County line into Mount Olive over towards Seven Springs along Highway 55. Moving northward, heavy rain moving through Wilson County still, where we do have a thunderstorm still in progress from Wilson toward Lucama. Showers light but still falling from Greenville to Grimesland to Washington and Chocowinity. Vanceboro still a very wet corridor down Highway 43 heading toward New Bern. Fort Barnwell to Jasper also as we look along still Highway 55. Showers and thunderstorms working in off the Atlantic tonight, and with all this moisture moving in, dry north of US 64. Some spotty showers now moving into Jones and Onslow County. But here was the scene as this moisture moved into Pitt County. Ray Baldry, one of our Facebook friends, sending this picture, a very ominous dark cloud that did bring a very, very heavy downpour to the Greenville area earlier this afternoon. Also, our Katie Banks showing us the storm clouds that still dumps heavy rain across Wilson as well as Lucama. Here's the forecast into this evening. Likely chances of rain at least through 7 o'clock, becoming more widely scattered into the overnight. Temperatures will be dropping through the 60s before bedtime. We'll talk more about your weekend forecast straight ahead.
All right, David, thanks so much. Parents who refuse to pay up are on their way to jail tonight. The Pitt County Sheriff's Office launched Operation Support Your Child today. They're tracking down parents who owe money for child support. Not on your sides, Andrea Blanford takes us right to the people on the most wanted list and tells us why deputies need your help to find them.
Lieutenant Willie Hyman is driving down Beatty Street when he spots a familiar face.
Rick Angel. What's your name?
With Adam Mary David
4851. Pull over them and ask you something.
He's looking for parents who owe child support. After a few questions, he's found one.
I'm Andrea from 9 on Your Side. Can you tell me your name real quick?
Ricky Johnson.
Ricky Johnson. You live in Greenville?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know that you owe money on child support?
I did not know this last time, no.
Ricky Johnson says he just finished paying child support for his oldest son, but for the 1-year-old he's never met.
Do you know how much money you owe?
I just found out today it was $2,000. I did not know.
So it's kind of like a repeating cycle.
Hyman and Sergeant Doug Peterson have a stack of records that never seems to shrink. People who owe money and have been in and out of jail.
Sometimes let's get their attention where they do get out and get a job. Some that get attention, some of them still not going to work, not going to pay support.
Sheriff Neil Elk says he hopes this operation will put an end to the cycle.
There's a lot of parents trying to beat the system. They don't take the system serious. They go to jail and they say things that the judge wants to hear to get out, and they never, at the end of the day, they never accept that responsibility of, it's my responsibility to pay for my child.
But right now, for Johnson, jail is the only sure thing.
So what are you going to do when you get out?
I don't know. I mean, I can't do nothing while I'm in jail, so I got to sit there until I go to court, or I don't know.
Andrea Blanford, 9 on your side.
Pitt County deputies are running Operation Support Your Child for 1 month. It will end on Father's Day. You can visit our website for a link to the mugshots. If you have any information, call the sheriff's office.
All right, it's back to business today at a Trade Wilco Hess gas station in Oak City. This, of course, after a real scare last night. Last night, Martin County deputies were called to the station after employees told them that 2 men had drove up and both had been shot. Paramedics took them to Martin General Hospital. One of them later died. Investigators still are working to uncover exactly what happened. The other one is still in the hospital. A man found dead in his Greenville home was stabbed, according to investigators. Relatives found 57-year-old David Knox's body on Saturday afternoon off Douglas Avenue. Police found his stolen car at a business on Greenville Boulevard. Investigators searched the car for more evidence that would lead to a suspect. At least that's what they're hoping. Police are calling this a very active investigation.
2 ECU police officers are under investigation tonight, facing sexual battery charges. This is one of the accused. ECU police say Officer Clinton Griffin and another unnamed officer are on administrative leave pending the investigation. The alleged incident happened back on April 14th off campus. The officers were not on duty at the time. Meanwhile, 2 Marines were accused of rape tonight. Sergeant Patrick Kaiser and Corporal Matt Crown are charged under the Uniform Code of Military Justice with rape, sodomy, and assault. Both are members of the 2nd Marine Division at Camp Lejeune. Base officials will not say what they're accused of doing, but say they are restricted to base pending the investigation.
And a local teenager is behind bars tonight, charged with nearly 36 counts of first-degree sex offense with a child. Greenville police have arrested 18-year-old Tyler Wilson for allegedly involvement with the child that happened between May of 2011 and March of this year. He is in jail under a $1 million bond. His first court appearance is set for tomorrow morning.
Like any complicated diagnosis, when you find out you have diabetes, there's a lot of information to take in.
Yeah, it is. And understandably, it can be an overwhelming and confusing time for a patient. But new studies show having diabetic education to help guide you through the process can produce some big results.
9 on your Science, Kristen Hunter is live in our studio right now from the phone bank where medical experts are on hand to answer all your questions about diabetes.
Yeah, doctors' offices are so busy that a lot of times when we go, we don't have a whole lot of that one-on-one time. And that's what diabetes educators are for. We actually have several of them here in our phone bank panel, whether it's questions about medication, nutrition, or just your everyday routine. Educators help simplify an ordinarily complicated disease. I sat down with one man who, with the help of an educator, has seen amazing results since he was first diagnosed. It was just a year ago that Justin Harkleroad ended up at the doctor's office for what he thought would be a simple fix.
Kind of felt like I had a stomach bug, kind of nauseous, and so I went to the doctors and was like, "Hey, what's going on?" They were like, "Yeah, we need to take you to the emergency room." It was all downhill from there.
It turns out it wasn't a simple fix, but rather a complicated diagnosis. Doctors told him he had diabetes.
I was terrified, and I thought I was going to die.
But instead of letting the disease get the best of him, Harkleroad decided to make the necessary changes to live a longer life.
The first part was education. I had to figure out what was going on with my body and what I needed to do to figure out to get myself better.
That's where a certified diabetes educator stepped in.
She kind of figured out what my lifestyle was and where she could help me make improvements, and then I mean, I had to follow those things that she had suggested to me, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it without her.
Susan Houston takes her role as a diabetes educator very seriously. After all, she too has diabetes.
Me living with diabetes for 30+ years had never heard of a certified diabetes educator until I started working in the endocrinology clinic, and then realized that there was this great role that could have helped people like me when I was first diagnosed.
Houston isn't Harkle Road's educator, but she works with people like him every day.
Nobody likes to be told what to do, and nobody likes to be told they're doing wrong. But all of us are just living and hoping that we're living well. And a lot of the people I see could be living a little better.
And living better is exactly what Harkle Road has been doing. Doctors say his sugar levels are back to a healthy level, and he's lost 70 pounds within the last year.
The weight change was, that's awesome. It's kind of fun to watch your body change. And just looking in the mirror. I have 2 nieces and nephews that I'm actually able to play with now. So that was, I mean, that's kind of a goal that I've set for myself. It's being around for them. So, I mean, that in itself is, you know, it was life-changing.
When you're diagnosed with a chronic disease, giving up would be easy to do. But for those who think it's the end-all, be-all,
it's not. You can persevere. You can succeed at getting it under control and living productively. It's not like a death sentence.
Living proof that a little bit of education goes a long way.
If you had talked to me 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been one of the success stories. I would have been dodging the everything. But now I recognize that if I do A, B, C, D, E, things are not too shabby. But I also realize life and junk can throw you a curveball, and then you just have to deal with it and move on.
Now, we have physicians and we have educators, but why not see the two at the same time? That's the question doctors here in the East ask. And coming up tonight at 11, we'll talk about a new team approach to treating diabetes. And in the meantime, these experts are all here to answer your questions until 6:30 tonight. So give them a call, 888-616-0614 or 252-355-8599. Again, they're here to answer your calls. We have several diabetes educators on hand here, just like the one you just saw in the story. Give them a call at 888-616-0614 or 252-355-8599. For now, we'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
And we want to remind you, too, if you don't get through on the first time, be patient and try again, because you will get through eventually.
Absolutely. All right. Well, coming up at Onslow County School is taking a stand.
Students and staff marched to raise awareness for a very important issue facing young people today.
And more wet weather in your Storm Team 9 forecast. Those details next.